The UFC's foundation is built off the back of Royce Gracie, the pioneer of BJJ in mixed martial arts. Didn't care about being mounted or pulling guard himself. Royce always gets the submission, either via armbars or chokes. No position was an issue. He always seems to turn a disadvantaged position into a superior one.
And right now, the endurance factor is playing such a role.
However, as the sport grew, fighters got better at defending from the guard, and your back on the ground is interpreted by the judges that you are losing. Still, guard fighting is an unavoidable position for every MMA fighter. This is because you can be taken down.
And she stands bladed.
Just
it gives up
that left hand over and over again.
Knocked down, or you can even pull guard yourself.
That shot, he's already touched that.
He is inch by inch making this more and more uncomfortable for Antigulov.
Puts at the back of the knee.
Oh, there it is.
Altogether, there is a possibility of being at the bottom of a ground position. So, how do you fight your way out of a seemingly unfavorable position? What advantage do you have over your opponent? And what advantage does your opponent have over you in each guard position? Alright, so the first guard we'll take a look at is the close guard. When playing guard, the most common and basic yet important way you can play guard is by close guard. This simple guard is used to control the torso of your opponent.
Okay, so that hand that is under his head is gonna start on the hook, and I'm gonna keep my head next to his head. It's still pretty hard for him to attack me here. Now I'm gonna get the other hand under, and I'm gonna get my hands together. Now it's really hard for him to attack me.
But there are limited submissions you can pull off in this position. To be able to do the close guard, you have to be able to lock your legs together around your opponent while in guard position, then engage in fighting, either trying to limit the strikes from your opponent or returning punches of your own. Altogether, if you can perfectly pull the close guard off, you will be able to significantly reduce your opponent's chances of landing clean, round strikes on you. While you could be doing a good job in the close guard, you should not stay there for a long time if there is no opening for a submission. This is because MMA judges will count it as control time for the one on top, not you. Some MMA fighters have fantastic guards like Paul Gregg and Charles Oliveira.
But Beneil's so strong from this top position. Nice hammer fist from the bottom as well for Charles.
And we talked a little bit about this, Paul.
And only a few will engage them in the guard. Ultimately, the close guard is a way for you to slow down the action.
But he's very comfortable on his back. Very dangerous guard. Those were four good.
Catch your breath and reduce damage. But if you want to transit to a position where your chances of submitting your opponent will be higher, then the next guard is better. Let's talk about the rubber guard. This is an advanced guard position created by Eddie Bravo and popularized in the MMA world by Joe Rogan. The rubber guard needs a great deal of flexibility.
Rubber guard turns to an omoplata. Tremendous Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner just received his black belt from George Gergel. You see the way Dustin has his right.
As it involves grabbing your shin with your arm over your opponent's back.
Pull his head.
This, in turn, will significantly help reduce the movement of your opponent and will arguably more effectively defend you from ground strikes than any other guard. Not only that, you are now open to a variety of submissions like the triangle choke,
Triangle! Saunders looking to finish. Santos raising up, trying to pull his head out. His head out. It's a reverse triangle, but he also has an
omoplata, gogoplata, armbars, and guillotines. If you, as a guarder, find someone who knows his way around the guard, you will be in for a long night, as they will not only nullify any submission threat you want to pull off, but they will also rain a lot of heavy blows on you. Just as Fedor Emelianenko, a renowned Sambist, rained down power blows on Antonio Nogueira. But if you want a better chance of offense, then the next guard will serve you better. Let's talk about the half guard. This guard position is just as its name suggests. It's halfway between a closed guard and an open guard. There are various positions of half guard, but there are two commonly used ones in MMA. One is the underhook half guard. This guard is suitable for wrestlers, as it gives the man at the bottom a chance to come out to the knee and grab a single leg from his opponent. A key point in this guard is that fighters have to get an underhook and keep their heads close to the opponent's body. An MMA fighter who uses this well is Demian Maia.
Занимает, казалось бы, атакующую позицию в партере, но Майя сразу же встает. Вот, кстати.
As much as the underhook half guard gives you a chance to reverse position, it can also be risky, as you don't have control of your opponent's body and arms as in the rubber guard. A much safer option is the second common half guard. That's the Z guard. One major advantage the Z guard poses is that you have better distance control and the ability to lock your legs around your opponent. However, there is a disadvantage. Because of the distance control, it is very hard to set up sweeps and submissions. That is why the Z guard is beneficial for avoiding damage and getting back to stand-up. Transitionally, being able to move from one position to another on the ground is where the next position comes into play. Alright, so the last guard is open guard. Alright, so open guards are just any kind of guard where the fighter has zero control over his opponent's body with legs around him. Open guard positions are very transitional and fluid in nature, with many variations, from the butterfly, to the lahiba, to X guard, and so on. But the most common variation of the open guard is the butterfly guard. The butterfly guard is an excellent position that allows you to be able to do three things. First, you are able to control your opponent's leg. Also, you have the option to sweep your opponent and submit them with the Kimura or Americana. But the disadvantage to the butterfly guard is that they could reverse the position by controlling and pinning your leg down.
Let's see how well Kane fights off his back. Kane back up to his feet. Nicely done by Mr. Velasquez.
We haven't seen him taken down.
In order to pass your guard. From there, if you try to get up, the single leg takedown is always present. There are so many scenarios that could lead to guard fighting, but knowing your strength and weaknesses in guard fights is one way to know what you will do in that position. Do you have the skill to remain at the bottom and submit your opposition, or do your skills lie when you are the one mounting the pressure from the top? Or is your goal only to get away from the guard fighting? One out of these three is the way a fighter would form his game plan when approaching a fight. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.